position of honesty and civic-mindedness and gets a yes and all that. Yeah, right. That's what it sounds like. You know, it's funny. I can't speak for my colleagues and my coworkers in this business. I think I'm the only one that says if you're a Democrat caller who wants to explain how something's going to work from you know, your side, I'll give you 2-3 minutes uninterrupted. You have the floor. I don't know how much more civic-minded I can be. So let's get to it. Here's CNN. Adam Schiff. Adam Smith, excuse me, Representative Adam Smith, not Senator Adam Schiff. Representative Adam Smith, Washington State, jumping out to blame Donald Trump before anybody knew anything. Cut 3.
My biggest concern is that we as a society are normalizing political violence. And you see this on many points of the political spectrum. The denigration and attacking of elected officials that you disagree with. It becomes incredibly, it's hateful and dehumanizing. And it puts in people's minds the idea that violence is an acceptable way to carry out political viewpoints. And you see this in much of the dialogue. How no one side of the political spectrum has a monopoly on it. Is certainly, you've seen it on the right and the left. But President Trump is the biggest problem here. And he has used hateful, degrading rhetoric from the day he decided to run for president. And then pardoned all of the January 6th attackers at the U.S. Capitol, people who thought that violence was a legitimate way to overturn an election. And Donald Trump gave them a big stamp of approval. You've also heard Trump muttering about possibly pardoning the people who are attempted to kidnap the governor of Michigan. Look, if Donald Trump and the Republican Party want this kind of thing to stop, they need to change their rhetoric and stop pardoning people who commit acts that are dangerous to this.
You mean like when Democrat presidents pardon actual terrorists? You realize those men were entrapped and baited into that plot by CIs working for the FBI. Wasn't like the FBI got word of a plan to kidnap the governor of Michigan. They created it. They went out and created it. Come on, guys, let's get her. Now, listen. You know, if you're at an event and somebody goes, "Hey, let's smash a bunch of windows and run inside the building and trash place," you go, "No, let's not do that," right? The next time you see someone like a Ray Epps coming down the street, you go, "Steer clear from this a-hole." I saw there was another video going around this weekend of supposedly Patriot Front. Does anybody really believe this? That's a hoax. That is a complete and utter put-up. All right, here's Senator Jeff Merkley, also on CNN, knowing nothing, blames Trump, cut 4.
How would you describe the current political atmosphere in this country this morning?
I feel like Trump has really popped the lid off the rhetoric and the sense of hate and violence and promoted this type of environment. It's profoundly disturbing for all of us. We have seen increased threats across the country. You're probably familiar with the pizza threats. We've seen more of that where pizzas or other food is delivered to people's families that they haven't ordered. Just to say, from the right wing, we know who you are, we know where you live. I can tell you all of our families feel a greatly heightened sense. And just let me just say, my heart goes out to the families in Minnesota.
You know, it's funny. When James Hodgkinson came to the Congressional Republican baseball practice with a list of Republicans he wanted to kill. After being a Bernie Sanders campaign volunteer, there was no discussion about rhetoric. You know, you had Bernie Sanders on the Senate floor. The Republican plan is to let you die. And then this guy goes out and shoots Steve Scalise. Chuck Schumer. Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, you've unleashed the whirlwind. You won't know what hits you. You'll pay the price. Then somebody shows up at Kavanaugh's house with a gun, zip ties, a hammer, right? We don't hold anyone accountable for rhetoric there. Gabby Giffords was shot by an avowed communist. Yeah, almost every time they tried to pin, even when, you know what's funny? I don't accept white supremacy. I just don't accept it. Okay? I don't accept it as a concept, and I don't accept it being Velcroed to my patchwork. I don't accept it. No matter how these people just decide what we are. But if you notice, some of these white supremacist shooters, when you read their manifestos and it talks about this and that and the other thing, sounds a lot like socialism and communism they're promoting. Right? Nazism is just Aryan communism. That's all that it is. It's the same idea. Say, well, the white supremacy is on your side of the aisle. It is? Where's that in my doctrine? My doctrine is the Constitution. Where's that in my doctrine? Right. Yeah, bloody war fought. Many amendments to address that. I don't know what you're talking about. They keep trying to like Velcro that to us. I just pull it up and throw it away. Let me tell you something. If they try and fail, these people, Smith, Berkeley, former Mayor Bill de Blasio, they had no idea. They heard violence against Democrat. Must be Trump. Must be Trump. Play cut 5.
I think the first thing we need to do is have our leaders take the temperature down. We're not expecting to see that from President Trump. Unfortunately, he has more than anyone given the permission structure for this reality. And even what we've seen in the last week in Los Angeles, sparked by a kind of state violence, by ICE being extremely aggressive in their approach to immigration enforcement, that created a response from protesters, most of them peaceful, and then of course we saw some who were not peaceful, and I want to emphasize that's not acceptable. Protesters being violent is not acceptable either, but there's a cycle here of the most important leadership in the country, both in the words he uses and the actions he's authorizing, creating an environment that's becoming more violent, more conceptual. I don't expect him to change. I do think we can call upon people in the Republican Party to start finding their consciences and take the temperature down in a meaningful way.
Let's talk about his time as mayor, shall we? I mean, you got to remember, this was the guy that was the mayor during the BLM riots, when millions of dollars of damage was done to the city and to the NYPD. And whose side was he on? Wasn't the side of law and order. Sure as hell wasn't the side of the NYPD. So don't take a lecture from Bill de Blasio about unacceptable forms of protest when he stokes on unacceptable forms of protest. All right, I gotta take a break. Tyler Gray, former Delta Force, author of the book Forged in Chaos and Warriors Origin Stories, going to join me. We're going to talk Israel and Iran. And Trump is saying to Iran, de-escalate now or else. SiriusXM Patriot.
Hey, D News. I'm getting ready to go to Cleveland. I got to stop and get some gas here.
worst performing employees. That's exactly why I started my business, so you don't have to. Hi, I'm Alan Jones, founder and CEO of Bambi. I created Bambi so small business owners can take back control of their business. Need to fire a poor performing employee who happens to now want 3 months off? Your Bambi HR manager will take care of that for you in your first week with us. You spend your time coaching your A players, we'll take care of the rest. I'm so confident that Bambi will help you focus on what you love about running your business that I'm offering a $1 trial to the service for your first month. Trust me, there are no limits to the amount of calls or questions you can give your Bambi HR manager. After your first month, just 20. Yes, 20. $9 a month for companies of any size. Month.
Israel is doing this to try and suck us into the war?
No.
You think that Netanyahu's just being honest with you? For the first time ever in history?
No.
He's got no ulterior motives. He's just
He's got no other, yeah.
Bibi Netanyahu is now saying that it was the Iranians that tried to assassinate Trump twice. So
Right.
Bibi
Don't you
I see
think?
that too.
Don't you think that it's at least possible that?
it's the sources within the White House, it's the sources within the Israeli government coming out and saying Donald Trump greenlit this. Donald Trump hasn't given any indicators that he didn't.
He needs to do that.
This is my argument to why he did greenlight it, because Bibi and the Israeli government have been trying to do this ever since the 1990s. And they weren't able to during the Bush years. They weren't able to during the Obama years. They weren't able during Trump's first administration, and they've been trying every single time to try to bomb Iran. And they can only do it if they have the express approval from the United States, because they understand that unless the United States defends them, they're screwed. So the United States absolutely gave them the green light, because they wouldn't have done it, because they would have done it originally on their own many years ago. They know that they need America's support, and they have America's support, and America is the one that is shooting down the Iranian missiles right now, running defense for them. So the Americans did greenlight this, did approve this 110%.
It's hard for me, and this is probably a simpleton's view on the issue, but it would be amazing to me that Donald Trump would greenlight this the weekend of his military parade. And I know that sounds really reductionist, but like, this is something he has been working towards for a long time, and it got completely upstaged by both the No Kings protest. He doesn't really have any control over that, but moreover,
But it's even more preposterous.
And if this is really the thing about his personality, that he is like very interested in patriotism and these displays, if we spent multi-million dollars on this, it would be surprising to me that he would greenlight them now.
No, it's even more surprising that the Israelis would say, we're going to screw over your birthday, we're going to screw over your parade, and we're going to act against your will. That is more preposterous.
No, see, that seems more realistic.
That seems, yeah, I have to agree. I think that, first of all, we know for a fact that Trump did, they wanted to assassinate the supreme leader, and Trump said no.
That's according to the sources.
Well, yeah, everyone's
Okay,
sources.
you're picking and choosing with sources right now. You're saying that
Of course.
White House sources haven't been corroborated or haven't been
there
contradicted. You're saying other
is
sources
a
are wrong.
story
We have to
that
see
of course
what-
aligns here and makes sense throughout the years, right? If you look at the story of what the Israelis have been trying to do that they haven't been able to do, that now they're able to do, they're only able to do it with our support, with our approval. They weren't able to do it without that, and that's pretty clear.
I don't think. I mean, I'm pretty sure they use their weapons, obviously. But
They used
I
their
mean,
weapons, they used their munitions, they used our intelligence.
I know,
And
but
they're using our
They've
defense.
had
right
access to for years.
So you're
and
telling
years
us we're not
and years.
involved?
Kind
You're
of doesn't
telling us
make sense.
Donald Trump? You're telling us Bibi surprised Donald Trump and did this against his will? Is that what you guys
yes,
are saying?
yes, that's what I believe.
Where's the proof of that?
Well, how about this? Okay, now if you're going to just say that this source isn't real, that I can't refute it. But Bibi Netanyahu has said that he doesn't care that Iran has asked for peace talks, and that he has also put the assassination. That's Nick Shirley's reporting. Okay, you trust Nick Shirley, right? Nick Shirley said that Netanyahu has said, I'm trying to find the tweet here, that he doesn't care about them wanting peace. He doesn't care, but he's still going to just attack them. Like, does that sound like a guy that has asked America for permission? I don't think so. I think he if that report is true, he has said, I don't give a shit about Iran.
Why did the United States, before the attack, send 20,000 missiles away from Ukraine to Israel? Why is
Because Israel bought them.
Always support Israel? Is
right
that
now?
kind of our
Why is the United States sending anti-drone systems from Ukraine to Israel right now?
They're buying them.
No. The
Don't you think?
Israelis have been given a lot of the stuff. They haven't bought. a lot of this stuff. Let's just be.
Is that
let's be
a
honest.
breaking tradition? Don't we do that all the time for Israel?
Give them stuff. Yeah.
Wait, maybe
Yeah,
not Nick Shirley.
so,
I
Again, why
confused.
now?
It's not Nick Shirley. It's the other guy. He's on Timcast all the time.
To believe that the United States didn't give the go-ahead, I think, is not reasonable. And I know we
Okay,
want-
let's say they gave him the go-ahead.
Let me finish. I know.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't want it to be true either. I don't want it to be true. But the fact, I think there is more overwhelming circumstantial evidence highlighting that absolutely Donald Trump proved this because of his statements afterwards, because of the U.S. actions
I'm
afterwards.
not saying that they didn't approve it. I'm saying they've got nothing to do with it. Like,
But when you're defending a country,
All right. Shit, nobody else there?
fair. I think that they're obviously. I think that the rest of the world will see the United States as being involved. But I think that when you have like reports of Bibi saying I don't give a shit, or is it Colin Rudd? When you have reports of Bibi saying I don't give a shit, when you have the IDF bombing news agencies while they're live on air, I don't think this is shit that Donald Trump signed off on. I really don't. But I also
he's not against it. But he's not.
I know it. He should. He should.
But he's not. But why isn't he?
He's
That's
well.
normal to me for Trump's negotiating style. I mean, it seems like whether or not he had prior knowledge of what Israel was going to do. Of course, I'm arguing that we gave them military supplies. Like, I agree, we should stop doing that. But that's been true for decades, right? Like, that's not specific to this last weekend. I also think that Donald Trump is unlikely to try and isolate Netanyahu by being too openly critical right now if the goal is to negotiate some kind of ceasefire.
Yeah,
the ceasefire is not going to happen here. It's going to be regime change. That's going to happen.
I totally agree. But if you're Trump, you're not trying to isolate
Donald Trump, right? And you promised no Middle East wars. You have the power to say, Israel, I'm not going to give you weapons. I'm not going to give you defense. You better stop doing this. He hasn't done any of that. He's done the exact opposite of that, which is enabling this conflict, whether it was directly or indirectly. We don't even have to. We could agree to disagree here. You guys say there's no green light. I say there's a green light. We could agree to disagree with. But currently, what the United States is doing is enabling and propelling this conflict by aiding, abetting, giving the weapons, giving the defense. Yes or no?
Well, yeah, of course, but they were always doing that.
Gaza conflict too. Like, this has always been the U.S.'s role in Israel, and we have all said it multiple times that perhaps this shouldn't be our focus. That I feel like our focus should be at home.
Absolutely, 100%. But it's not.
Of whether or not anything was greenlit in this case. But I do think that to think that Trump was just going to suddenly openly condemn Netanyahu is kind of a pipe dream.
Yeah, he may not be happy. He may have said stuff behind the scenes. I don't know.
Publicly, he's enabling and saying, "Excellent, great job, they're doing awesome."
I agree. But that's not him saying I co-sign it or that I took part in it or I greenlit anything. He's just saying, hey, he literally said
the Israelis would never do this unless they had the green light from America. Because they've been trying to do this.
I disagree. I think Netanyahu's crazy.
Why are they doing it now?
Isn't this a guy that bombed his own citizens so that he could justify a war? Like, the stuff that Netanyahu has done is actually heinous.
With Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson came out. He just did an interview with Steve Bannon. And his kind of point of view on this, I think, is 100%. Matt Walsh, MTG, 110%. I'm in line with this. There's a lot of fog of war. There's a lot of disinformation. There's a lot of anonymous sources, right? The facts speak for themselves. The United States is aiding and abetting and participating in this conflict and not doing anything to try to resolve and stop it.
That we know of. Trump has openly called for them to come back to the table.
The Iranians released a statement saying, as soon as Israel stops bombing us, we'll stop bombing them. Right? So if you're Donald Trump and you truly...
And then, Luke, what did Bibi say?
Say this. If you're truly not part of a disinformation campaign, if you truly didn't really greenlight this, if you're truly really not happy about this, this is what Donald Trump should be doing. He should be saying, Israel, stop. Iran, stop. We now negotiate.
Well, I agree. But Iran...
Guess what? It won't, because there's a different scenario happening behind the scenes. That is
Iran
and not comfortable for a lot of us to realize.
Iran just said that like an hour ago. It was reported, right? An hour or two ago.
2 days ago, they said to the foreign minister that as soon as Israel stop bombing, we'll stop bombing.
Well, I just read an article that they said they would come back to the table.
Yeah,
That came out.
You're right.
Yeah.
They would come back to the table an hour ago if the United States promises not to get involved. They would negotiate.
Right, but now Trump should say, "Hey, stop the bombs. Let's get this done." Trump should say that. But this was an hour ago. Give Trump a minute to comment on it. You're saying
he's not going to do this.
We'll see. I hope so. I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong too. I really do hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong on all of it. But from everything I'm seeing, the build up to this, the disinformation campaign before this, the sources coming out, Donald Trump's statements, Donald Trump's actions, it's all moving towards escalation.
Keep going. I got to answer this.
Yeah.
Hi, Jeremy. I mean, I don't disagree that there's a desire for escalation for war because in a lot of cases, U.S. politicians are war hungry. It behooves them
So you
to have
feed
their
the war
own
machine,
war.
or you stop it if you're Donald Trump?
I mean, this is the problem with being someone who is promised to be a backer of Israel, right? So, and I know you're going to shut me down on this one, but just walk with me through this hypothetical for a second here. If he had prior knowledge of Israel's desire to get involved with Iran, the allegations against Iran, if you're Donald Trump, you don't necessarily have to greenlight it to say the party line, which has been Israel has the right to defend itself. So that was started with the
They're
Hamas
not
conflict.
defending themselves. They're launching a
But that's not
they're
what
launching
Netanyahu is
an
saying.
attack. That's not defending themselves.
Netanyahu is saying we had to do this. This was preemptive, that Iran's
But
going to
it's not.
escalate,
That's
that we need to do this.
propaganda.
Okay, but even if it's propaganda, that's the justification from Israel. So if that's the public narrative from Israel, and you're Donald Trump who has said we support their right to defend themselves, I think it's probably a difficult position to say don't do that. It's getting spun as America is abandoning its longtime ally. I'm not saying this is right. I don't
Well, we're
believe
not.
escalation
We're
is the
we're going
But you're
above and
seeing that
beyond
this is
to aid and abet them fighting this war. We're not abandoning them. There's no accusations of abandoning. Quite the opposite. All the pro-Zionist neocons are celebrating Donald Trump and saying Donald Trump is doing an excellent job. We love what Donald Trump is doing. Donald Trump was a part of a disinformation campaign. Donald Trump is the one that allowed us to do this. He greenlit this, and we love Donald Trump for doing this.
See, I think that you don't know that he greenlit it.
This is
And
what the
even
Israeli government.
I
This
think
is what
if you're Donald
Bibi.
Trump, it's
This is
ridiculous
what
to greenlight this.
all the pro-war people are saying. The pro-war people are happier than ever. They're happier than pigs in ish right now.
Right, I don't disagree with you, but like I said before, I don't think this is the timing of when Donald Trump would greenlight something like this. I think probably Netanyahu took advantage of what's going on in the U.S. And the need for Donald Trump to have political capital as he moves forward through the ICE raids and all the other things that are going on. I also think probably, and I'm not an expert, that both sides, Iran and Israel, will always spin it so that U.S. involvement makes them the victim. So in this case, U.S. has an obligation to Israel. I don't know if that's true, but a lot of people feel that way. And if Donald Trump is openly critical, he's abandoning a lot of the stuff that he's been saying domestically. He's been supportive, like going after colleges for anti-Semitic language and actions on campus. So it's a delicate balance. I don't think Donald Trump is necessarily handling it well, but the idea that he greenlit this during a weekend that he has specifically singled out to be a weekend of American patriotism seems a little bit weird to me. It seems unlikely.
Why hasn't he spoken out about it? Why hasn't he said, "Hey, this is not"?
I mean, I just gave you the reason, which is like if he's critical of Israel, people who are like, "You promised to back Israel are going to attack you." And if you don't speak out about it, like, hold on. If you don't speak out about it, like you're saying, then everyone who's saying you're positioning yourself as being anti-war, but you're not doing anything to support the cause. It's a lose-lose scenario for him. And I'm not saying he's handling it perfectly, but just to go back to the original thesis, did he greenlight this? It seems unlikely to me that he greenlight this, and I think probably Netanyahu moved without his consent. Now, could
That's
Donald
a
Trump do
ridiculous
better?
argument, and we would have seen a big blowback if that was the actual case. But that is absolutely not true at all. And why haven't we seen Trump's actions reflected on that?
What's ridiculous? Sorry.
To think that Bibi said, "Trump, I'm going to go against your wishes. I'm going to do what I want." Right during your birthday, right during your military parade, I'm going to screw you over, Donald Trump.
Do you think it's less ridiculous that Trump was like, even though I have this big military parade
Let me finish.
You talk nonstop. You're calling my argument ridiculous. You won't
It would be insane for Bibi to say, "Screw you, Donald Trump. I'm not going to get your permission. I'm not going to get your acceptance here. I'm going to act on my own, and I'm going to ruin your birthday. I'm going to ruin your parade. That would be insane, and it doesn't match up with Donald Trump's actions afterwards, which are aiding and abetting this larger offensive here.
But you think it's less ridiculous that Trump, having spent millions of dollars on this military parade and having had to address the ICE raids and the No King riots, was suddenly like, you know what's a good thing we should do this weekend? Hit him, Netanyahu. Go get him. Like, that makes less sense to me.
I don't agree with you. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah, I think
clearly this has been on the table for a very long time. There was a long disinformation campaign that built up to this. We are in it, and now we're getting more involved into this, and now there's more military hardware being sent down to the region, which allows my theory to be a little bit more correct here, because the opposite would be happening. The opposite would be happening if your theory was true, right?
What do you mean?
Because now we have escalations. We don't have de-escalation. If we had de-escalation,
my theory doesn't prevent de-escalation.
If we had de-escalations from Donald Trump, your theory would make sense. But we have escalations and military movements and military hardware being moved into Israel that signals escalations.
I think that's an assumption that anything I said has to do with Donald Trump being obligated to de-escalate the situation. Greenlit this. Why did he pick this weekend? And so far, you're just saying it makes more sense that Bibi did it. I don't really follow your argument.
This makes no logical sense at all. Why he did this? Because this doesn't work out for anyone. This has shocked everyone. It shocked Matt Walsh. It shocked MTG. It shocked Tucker Carlson. It shocked me. It shocked everyone who is on the right, who has some scruples and is willing to speak out against this war being started. Donald Trump, again, he's the leader of the free world. He's the leader of America. Israel is nothing without America's support. Israel will not go against us without our full support. I think that is more logical, in my opinion. We could agree or disagree. We're going to find out
they wouldn't
later
pick
on.
this weekend. That's all I'm saying. Like, you can decide if Donald Trump signed off on this later if you want to, but I think it would be weird if he would greenlight this weekend. And it's hard for me to get past that fact, which makes me think Netanyahu probably operated without his full consent.
I highly doubt that.
Well, we'll find out, I guess.
I highly doubt that. We can place a bet. Let's place a bet. What do we
I'm not going to bet with you. I think it's weird to bet on global destruction.
Well, yeah, we have global destruction, and I think Donald Trump is not someone that just was allowed for it to happen without his permission. I think Donald Trump is a lot more powerful. I think the United States is a lot more powerful than we give him credit to. And in my opinion, in the sources, and from all the people congratulating, complimenting him that are neocon, Zionist right, I think he absolutely greenlit this. And we're going to find out later.
We'll find out. Yeah, I think
we can respectfully have a conversation and agree to disagree.
Yeah, I mean, you're wrong. Anyway, next topic. I mean,
okay, let's play.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be.
Lucas tried to end this 3 times, but he's like, but now we bet.
No.
I did say you're wrong. Snuppy, you're wrong into that.
Yeah, if you think I'm wrong, let's bet. Let's play some friendly wager here.
You want to bet on global?
You don't have any money to bet, Luke. We'll have to bet.
That's why I'm going to bet more.
Yeah. What's probably going to end up true is there's going to be some. It's going to be somewhere in the middle. Like, that's probably what's going to end up happening.
I doubt that.
I highly doubt that Donald Trump, as egotistical as he is, greenlit an attack during his big parade. As crazy as how we're still talking about war and people dying, also, isn't it kind of odd that, like, we have all this destruction and there's, like, no death toll? Like, isn't it weird? Like, suppose, like, 20 people have died. I know it's, like, I don't want to minimize it, but, like, that's it. 20
I feel like
people?
neither side wants to admit their death toll right now.
Yeah,
maybe.
Accurate numbers or accurate destructions from either side. This is the fog of war. There's people being arrested in both countries for documenting the attacks, and so I mean that's true here. But for me, again, it's right-wing cope because you guys don't want to believe it. I think that's where you guys are coming from. I don't want to believe it too, but I think it's a harsh reality that we
don't want to
realize
believe that Trump was involved in it.
But listen,
Wait, no, that's not right. I'm not coping.
I don't feel like I'm coping. I'm just trying to be logical.
Let me explain my theory here. Okay, let me just explain my rationale here and why I'm so passionate about this, right? Because we're in a very important moment where the United States probably will do offensive actions here from what I'm hearing.
Maybe.
Yes, maybe, but
You believe that that's true, and that's why you feel the way you do.
Let me just
I'm
finish
like,
my
sorry,
one
this
thought.
versus his own thoughts.
Finish my one thought here to explain to you guys my rationale, my thinking here. Right?
Yeah.
We are at this very big moment where key decisions are going to be made here. If there is vocal pushback against this war, Donald Trump is less likely to involve the United States. If there's a lot
Don't
of
you
people
think there is?
if there's a lot of people excusing this behavior, if there's a lot of people looking the other way and being silent, silence is not patriotism. Accountability isn't hate. Okay? If there's not enough people holding Donald Trump accountable for this escalation, which I think he bears some burden of, he's going to do more. And he needs a little bit of pushback from the people saying, no more war, please. Do you guys agree or disagree with me?
I think he's had a lot of people saying no more war ever since he was on the debate stage being asked about Ukraine, Russia. I mean, it's very obvious that the American people are fatigued by foreign wars, and he knows that. It's totally fine if you want to put pressure right now and say, do not get more involved in the Middle East. I'm for that. Go for it. But it's not, to me, linked up to this argument of did he greenlight what's going on. Those are separate issues.
I think we need more accountability. Accountability isn't hate. I think we need more people voicing their concerns, saying they don't want more war. And I think we need to do that in unison now more than ever, because the state would be.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also think that, I mean, there are a lot of people saying, you know, I think we're going to see a statement from Trump today saying that they need to de-escalate. That's what I think he will. Now, Trump's greatest weakness besides his ego is his weird Israel affiliation or affinity for Israel.
Listen,
When he got, let me finish.
I want to send you something that I think is worth reading. Sorry, finish your thought.
Yeah, man, we've been letting you go like a runaway train here. Let me,
No, Luke's not being allowed to finish. I got told that several times.
Oh, Luke,
you try to shush me. You're like, you
ranted for like 20 minutes, and then
a conversation. I respect both of you guys, and we're having a very important conversation. I think these conversations are important, and I thank you guys for engaging me.
Well, all right, shut up. No, here.
No. Look at the Axios.
I'm going to. I will. Okay. I just want to say, you got to make your case. I will just say, when Bibi Netanyahu says he is not interested in peace talks with Iran, even when Iran is asking for peace talks, he's also refused to rule out assassinating Supreme Leader Khamenei, or whatever the hell his stupid name is. Even though Trump told him no on that, and now he's refusing to. Isn't it possible that this comes after the news that the Iranian regime is asking to come back to the table? Isn't it possible that this guy is a loose cannon right now? Like, I'm just saying.
He's always been a loose cannon. He was in the U.S. Congress telling us in 2003, Iraq has nuclear weapons that are going to attack us with these nuclear weapons, right? He's been trying to get the United States to allow him to do this for over 20 years. Out of all the years, now's the time, and we're saying, oh, he has no support from the United States. I don't believe that's true.
Well, okay, you can disagree. That's fine. So here's your Axios thing. Now we're trusting Axios. So, let's see here. This says Trump gave a clear U.S. green light for the strike in Iran. Axios citing Israeli officials. So again, Israeli officials are the ones saying this, which feeds my theory.
Countering this, then, if
he needs to. I agree. If he doesn't do it,
Trump, tell us it's not true. Don't tell us it's excellent. Then what's happening here?
Right. If he doesn't do that, then yes.
Okay.
But is it not? Well, again, it's been like a minute. This is from 3 days ago. This.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Countering that.
What is Axios?
The belief here, and this is what's
going
on our troops in the region. I don't want to see our troops hurt, man.
Well, come on, you can't straw man. I'm not saying that.
Oh, good. I'm glad it went so well.
I'm not saying you do, but by not countering this message from the Israelis and from all the mainstream media reports of this, he is showing the Iranians that this is possibly true. He could tell the Iranians this is not true, and therefore save American troops and not get us involved, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, so far we are not. There are, we sent a. This is only going to feed Luke more, but we did send a Navy destroyer that was set to be decommissioned next year to the area.
Yeah, that's convenient. That's nice golf talk in 2.0 kind of scenario there.
Yeah, but I'm saying I believe that Bibi Netanyahu is a crazy person that will do whatever the fuck he wants, and I believe that he has Trump cucked. That's always been Trump's greatest weakness. When you vote for Trump, you know, as Hannah Claire has granted,
Cleveland.
late night phone calls.
I think it says in the.
Anonymous sources.
Yeah.
It's saying that.
Yeah, you know, I choose to believe that Netanyahu.
Work road trip to Cleveland.
This is a guy that has done some heinous stuff. Now, why Trump is encountering it, there could be other reasons for it.
Donald Trump should be countering it because if he does it, this puts our troops in danger in the region, right?
Yes, it does.
I'm sure.
If it puts them in, but I don't think this is about a regime change, right? That's once this started. That's what this was about.
Yeah,
they're gonna put.
but yeah,
they're gonna put. What is it? The monarchs from. Who are they? I read somewhere. They got somebody they already want to put in. And we know how well regime changing. The Iranian people seem to be. This is like very CIA. Like the Iranian people are out in the streets, like hoping that their supreme leader gets off.
Well, there's a lot of propaganda and misinformation. There are some people that really don't like.
But what you're saying isn't,
there's also
right?
Really people that don't like Bibi Netanyahu.
That's true too. Well, they were trying to get him out before this convenient war started. Huge. They were having big demonstrations.
Polls against Bibi Netanyahu.
Yeah.
Before all these conflicts started, and now he's in power for indefinitely.
Yeah, as long as he stays at war. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to agree to disagree, but Trump.
Why did Donald Trump inform the Middle East and the embassies and the militaries to prepare for war before the war started? Why did he move significant military?
I'm not saying he didn't know. I'm not saying. Yeah, but Luke, that doesn't mean he gave. Right, but that doesn't mean he co-signed anything. That just means his intelligence said that
you don't prepare. You tell Bibi stop it. He'll do it.
And I'm saying Bibi said get fucked up doing it anyway. That's what I'm saying.
Pull back a little bit, but he hasn't.
He needs to.
He's been fully out.
I know. I'm saying, if he doesn't, then that's a lot more credence to your position. My position is that Netanyahu is, is going a bit rogue here, and that because Israel is such our greatest ally, it would not look good if Trump publicly spoke out against it. And I think that there's more to it.
Morton. I never heard of Morton.
Than we're being told. And I think
I used to live southeast of
I
Cleveland.
would look to see Trump,
Kent.
separate himself.
Ryan tried to kill him. Right? He said that when he was.
He was told that. Yeah.
Yeah, but he said it. He said it too. Right? I don't
Well,
think
they had a
stand down.
but they have a bounty on his head for Soleimani or whatever. For
One Iranian politician did say that.
Yeah.
And wasn't the story behind the Iranian assassination attempt on Trump kind of weird? Like the FBI informed us of this,
Yes.
but also turned out the guy had a visa and was in the United States legally, which
Yeah.
was hypothetically he had been vetted by our authorities. Like this story never made sense to me. And
And it went away.
Propaganda probably has been building for a long time, but that case would be centering around anti-Iran propaganda, which to me would make Israel a little more sketchy.
Was
Again,
that a
I
Corvette?
tend to think that Netanyahu is counting
look like a
on
Corvette.
loyalty to him and is probably confident enough to operate without Trump's
Kind of like a
consent.
Porsche.
To say that because obviously we like to
Maybe it
think
is.
that,
I didn't see it when it went by. I
Trump's
was
the strongest negotiator in the world, but
trying to send off an email.
the conversations around Israel over the last 2 years have been difficult for the Trump administration to navigate.
But listen, if Donald Trump wants to stop this war right now, he can. He could say, okay, we're not going to give you the missiles. We're not going to give you the anti-drone systems. We're not going to give you the missile defense systems. We're not going to give you the defense. You stop it. You make a deal right now, or we're not going to support you in this war.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it's about as easy as releasing the Epstein files, I think. I think.
Yeah, we still have all
I
six.
think that. I mean, yeah, we'll have to find out if Trump breaks.
Until my younger son gets a place
He says, "Hey, enough
to
is
bring
enough."
his girlfriend and his baby too.
You know, Iran
I told him I'd hang on to him.
enriching uranium, and they did have 60 days to get rid of it. They didn't do it.
And on the 60-day marker,
It was like 1 day later. Yeah, it was like 1 day.
60-day marker. All right.
Yeah,
That leads credence to my argument.
maybe. I mean, it leads more credence that, you know, Trump probably said, "Give me some."
Happened to you in 60
Oh, no,
days,
that's okay.
in 60 days if Donald Trump didn't agree.
I don't need to apologize.
I'm saying that Trump probably told Netanyahu, "Give me 60 days before you do anything."
Yeah, everything's good though. I mean, the dogs have been actually getting along.
Yeah, Netanyahu did it.
Still, I keep one of them locked up
I feel
whenever
like,
I'm not there, but
you
the
know,
wife's gonna be home in a
Trump
few
has
hours,
released
so
Epstein files,
from work.
which many believe heavily implicates Israel. Trump, you know, hasn't disavowed Israel's indiscriminate bombing of Gaza. He hasn't disavowed the attack on Iran. I think if he does not disavow it now that Iran has said we want to talk, that will be bad.
And that's
That well, we can't know the future. At least I can't. I hope that he does.
our voices matter too. And the more we speak out against not loving
He's seeing it. He's definitely seeing it.
I mean, there's a reason that he came out and said, "I want the wars to end," when asked about who we want to win, Russia or Ukraine. I think being anti-war is one of the unifying narratives for the American public. Now, of course, as this conflict escalates, continue to talk about it and make it something that's a priority for the administration. But it's not like this is a new idea that Americans have conceived.
Yeah. Well, let's go to some comments.
We don't want it.
Yes.
And Trump has the ability to stop it, and he hasn't.
That's only if you think he does.
He does. He could just say, "I'm not going to send the missiles. I'm not going to send the arms. I'm not
He
going to send."
could. He could. He just said he was going to release the Epstein files.
Yeah.
He said that, and he hasn't done so. He just said that he was going to prosecute the Trump politicians that went after him.
Yeah.
He hasn't. He just said. So, I mean, there's. I think that things are far worse than we have hoped.
I think on that we can agree with.
Yeah. Diddy. The Diddy case. Do you see they kicked a juror off? The only black man on the jury. I mean, come on, the fix is in.
If he's convicted, there's a high likelihood that that is part of his appeal. Saying that.
Oh yeah, it's got to be. Yeah. Like they're basically. I mean, the fix is in. The only black, and they're like, well, he lied about where he lives. I'm like, I don't. I mean, if you thought he was going to convict him, would you have kicked him off the jury? I don't think so. I think you wouldn't have any problem with it. Let's go to chat. Let's let everybody calm down. I think everyone agrees that we don't want any more wars.
Let's calm down by reading the chat. Okay, Jeremy.
Yeah, no, just to see the chat.
That's very.
No.
This is where you pull off the BB act here, okay? You're
Yeah.
BB over here.
Chat is so notorious for being calm and just really like relaxed. They never say anything spicy at all.
Yeah. The text that says, it doesn't fucking matter. Both leads to America being over there, which is no good. Nobody knows the truth of whether or not Trump will with it yet, but don't jump the gun either way. I agree. Dillybot says, Luke, I get your anti-war, but having a childish view of the world, I don't think his view is childish. I think he's just maybe fatalist. Like, yeah, war is part of our human nature. Besides, as Paul Joseph Watson says, some cultures are better than others. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, let's bomb the crap out of it.
yeah,
Yes.
I don't care. I mean, this is perhaps cool. I don't care if Israel wants to bomb the crap out of Iran. I don't care at all. But I just don't have any part in it. Unfortunately, we have a big part in that. He says, Luke, I love you and have followed and supported you over a decade, but your TDS is getting ahead of you. Oh, you're assuming the negative intent. I don't think Luke has TDS.
Oh, dude, I'm not gonna say there's not much pet hair. There's pet hair everywhere, but that's generally from our pets. Both these dogs are short hairs. So.
BB just, someone said BB just double crossed Trump. Look at it. Flash, I'm a team Hannah Claire, not Luke or Jeremy. But Hannah Claire and I are on the same team.
I think we are. But if you're just generally a supporter, I appreciate that.
Oh, okay.
I also think generally.
I'm hoping I don't either, because I got to be in Defiance at 8 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, it's more than likely not going to happen. This should not take that long at all.
The text event says, consider this, BB knows that Trump has to follow and protect Israel or lose America to the Dems. So he calls his bluff, goes against his will, knowing Trump is just bark, no bite to Israel.
And isolate all of his base and divide MAGA.
That's what's happening now, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he loses either way. I think he should come out, I agree with you. He should come out and strongly say, all right, Iran said they're done. They've said, Uncle, stop it. He should say that. It was very nice to see HCB v. Luke. Maybe a members-only debate, one-on-one at some point. I like the energy. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't like that fight. Lucky Nate says, I have done 4 tours in the Middle East. I can assure you that the Iranians hate us. They were sending fighters into Iraq in the early 2000s. They were killing us. Fuck Iran. Blast the whole country. Didn't they also develop one of the most lethal IEDs for the Iraqis or the Taliban? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I thought the Iran had given these famously dangerous IEDs to the Taliban. I could be wrong about that. EJ Strader says, make the mistake, comma, I have no problem turning my back on this administration if things played out and we do end up in full-scale war or a full-scale proxy war. Yeah, I would too. I'm on the razor's edge right now. I'm not happy. Hello, Darkest Time. I'm with Luke here in that right people need to speak up and try to get this shut down. PJ, I love Dave Smith, but calling Trump's impeachment immediately before things even played out was a little bit emotional. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, he's having a bit of a mentee bee or a melty bee.
I think Dave Smith can be really interesting. I've liked the time we've gotten to talk to him. I am kind of. I always find it interesting when people are like, I regret voting for Donald Trump because it's like.
No worries, bud.
Libertarian, right? But the libertarians.
I'm on until.
I don't think you would have voted for sitting out.
About 4:20 my time, so about 3:20 your time is how much drive I have left.
For the election, you had a lot of very pro-life people coming out saying, I don't want to support Donald Trump. And I respect, their opinions, and I think it's good to advance debate. But then, so what, you want Kamala to win? That doesn't seem like the best solution either.
Right. Mr. Matthew says, uppity vassals do attempt to try and drag their parent countries into war while also ignoring their said parents. It happens a bunch throughout history. I mean, look at how little Zelensky's been acting. He's been kind of a dickwad. Now he wants to talk, but that's probably only after he started, Trump got sick of him.
Yeah, but he only acted the way he did because he got fully supported and aided by the Biden administration.
Right.
And that same thing that Donald Trump is doing to BB right now.
I saw you rated Tyler Today's News and Outworld last week. Respect to you for supporting younger Rumble creators. I try to do that on Fridays. Spread the love a little bit.
It's a good thing. The low creators get a lot of support.
Yeah, right. Let's
before we go, I have a clip I sent into the private chat. This is what Hannah wants you to fight and die for. Right here.
This is out already.
I don't even want to play it now because we just de-escalated and now you're going to do this. And I will. This is
everyone knows. Luke and I never talk outside this show, so I have no idea what's about to happen.
Yeah.
This is where all of us. This is where all of our hard-earned tax dollars are going to. Play the clip, Jeremy.
Oh, I was playing it. Was it not?
No.
Oh, it's on the wrong window.
Hold on, Andrew.
Yes,
This is the future.
I have fulfilled. I know what this clip says.
Creepy that you have this link on your phone, Luke. I don't want to know what you look up.
Is that Ian Carroll?
They're missing the mustache there.
No, he isn't.
Maybe
Right
he
behind him.
Maybe he shaved.
No, right behind him. I'm saying
Oh,
that looks like Ian Carroll.
who knows?
The I'm gonna let you guys know what Luke sent me over the weekend. Just so you want to know who you're fighting and dying for here. This is the type of man that said this is what he sent me. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? All right, so just it's kind of quiet. So make sure you turn up your speakers quick here, okay?
Don't do it.
Never relax. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know what that means. It sounded like Elder Scrolls music, I think. So I'm not sure. I don't know what the message is there about relaxing. I don't know what Luke was trying to say.
Tell you not to relax. That seems pretty weird.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you'd never want to relax. I think I'd support that. But, I like to work. I like to stay busy. So I wanted to talk a little bit. By the way, here we're at the top of the hour.
We already halfway through the show.
Yeah, we're already halfway through the show.
That was
I've got a couple of things to talk about. I've got a couple of shout outs here to sponsors. This one is Built for America. Hey folks, real quick update right now. DC politicians are trying to kill the energy tax credits that actually bring manufacturing back from China and putting Americans to work. These credits are fueling American energy dominance, rebuilding our supply chains, and hitting China where it hurts. We're not talking theory, we're talking real jobs, real factories, real results right here in America. Repealing them would kill millions of U.S. jobs, gut $1 trillion from our economy, and hand China the win. President Donald Trump, don't let Congress pull the plug on America's comeback. Protect the taxpayers that are putting America first. So, I don't know if I have a link here. I guess that's just the description. All right, there you go. That's from Built from America. And then I also have another one, this one from PBS. The American dream is under attack, and hardworking patriots like you are being crushed under mountains of debt. Why? Because creditors love debt. They want you to be stuck in their should probably yes, okay. The American dream is under attack, and hardworking patriots like you are being crushed under mountains of debt because creditors love debt. They want you to be stuck in high interest trap. They want you drowning in student loans, credit card debt, and skyrocketing mortgage rates. Because when you're broke, you're controllable. So what do? Take control, fight back, and that starts with PDS Debt. They've helped hundreds of thousands of people live debt-free. PDS Debt goes beyond the numbers to understand your unique financial situation. No minimum credit score required. They're here to help save more, pay debt off faster, and start putting money back where it belongs in your pocket. PDS Debt is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, boasts thousands of 5-star reviews on Google, and holds a 5-star trust rating on Trustpilot because PDS Debt helps hundreds of thousands of people get out of debt. You're 30 seconds away from being debt-free. Get your free assessment and find the best option for you right now at pdsdebt.com/quartering. That's pdsdebt.com/quartering, pdsdebt.com/quartering. All sponsor links are in the description. If you're interested in following some of my wonderful co-hosts, Hannah, Claire, let them know where people can find your content.
Sure. You guys can find my content on Rumble and YouTube. It's Hannah Claire B. I put out news videos. It's normally news analysis, cultural stuff. I think we have one up today on the Trump baby boom, or the possibility of a Trump baby boom.
Yeah, $1,000 credit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on, and is it going to work is the question. So please check that out if you're interested. Thanks to those of you who have already subscribed. I'm still doing videos on the Idaho 4 murder if you're interested in that case. Although I'm considering moving it to a separate channel because I know not everyone is interested in following the legal turmoil that goes along with these kind of cases. But yeah, you guys can follow me on Rumble, YouTube, and X. It's all Hannah Claire B. Thanks to those of you who have already followed me there, and thanks to Jeremy for having me back after a little time off when I had my baby.
Yeah, Luke, where can they find yourself?
I am offending everyone on Twitter.com/Luke We Are Change. I'll put it in the chat room there so people can see the very kind of bombastic messages and tweets and inflammatory comments that I'm making. Definitely worth the view. Twitter.com/Luke We Are Change. I'm definitely not holding back. What I think is the most important situation of our time that is bringing us on the precipice of local world war, which I think we should be doing everything in our power to try to prevent as peacefully as possible right now. And if you like that type of message and you want to support me, you can get some excellent, amazing microplastic-free tea on wearechange.shop. We have a great store, great quality control. It's a product that me and Jeremy worked very hard on creating, and it's a really good product. Once you get it, you'll be hooked. You're going to love it. Wearechange.shop is where you get it, and it's really, really great, awesome teas that are very flavorful, very healthy, and very good for you. Wearechange.shop. The link is in the comment section right now.
Yeah, I think we're going to shift gears and talk about the Minnesota man next, because that story is bonkers. Did we just jinx? Did you say bonkers too?
You owe me a Coke, Jinx.
You owe me a Coke.
No way, I said that first. Adhere to customary rules, my friend.
That is true.
Yeah, what a way to wake up on Saturday, though. This must have been a talk in your area because.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But,
wait, I forgot to say, I have a promo code, everybody, for a free month of Rumble Premium. If you haven't yet, go to rumble.com/premium right now. And while we're live, just go sign up. The promo code is free for ordering. And yes, also the annual one is still active too. So if you go to thequartering.com/join, you can save $20 a year, or you can get a free month. And most importantly, I want you to use it. We have a lot of members-only content already available on our Rumble page. When you sign up for Rumble Premium, you get no ads on Rumble. You get access to our premium content. You get access to Tim Pool's content, Mug Club, Russell Brand, everybody's. You get an identification or an authentication badge on your username, and I can get you the first month free with promo code free ordering. You can also save $20 off the annual, which is actually a better deal than the free month, by going to thequartering.com/join. Both are linked in the description. Please sign up today. When you sign up and you become a paying member of Rumble Premium, you're doing two things beyond all the benefits you get. You're supporting free speech in Rumble, and you're supporting the show. We definitely, this is a slow time of year, and we get half of that. So Rumble gets half, we get half, so you're supporting free speech, and you're supporting the show. So definitely, please go to rumble.com/premium, promo code free quartering, one word. And let me know in chat if the code is still working. I think it is, but I want to be sure. Let's talk about the Minnesota man. Luke, where were you this weekend?
In my studio, working overtime nonstop, releasing a bunch of content surrounding all the latest breaking news that's happening right now in great detail.
Were you though? Yeah, were you though? Did anybody see you? No, I had.
Yeah, I was doing videos every single gosh darn day, like I've been doing this entire year, in order to get away from the major IRS attack on me.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
I was live streaming, so thousands of people. I have 15,000 people watching me, and so they know that it wasn't me. Although Hannah Claire was suspiciously quiet over the weekend.
Yeah, did you
I was suspiciously. I think I was about as boring as I always am.
So what do you do? I'm going to go to Hannah Claire, then Luke. What do you make of this case? There's a lot of conspiracies to have.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you will not. I bet you by the end of today, this will be confirmed. he's not working alone. There is no way that his wife wasn't involved. How did he escaped the police on foot? Who brought him his car? Then you have video of his roommate randomly breaking out the window in one of his vehicles used to commit the crime. Why did he break that window out? Were they going to say the vehicle was stolen? The picture of the Ring camera with the mask doesn't even look like him. There are more twists and turns in this case than even the Iowa 4 or 5 or whatever right now. Yeah, what do you make of it?
It's such a bizarre story. I mean, obviously, I think we were all prepped for this weekend to be massive protest coverage, right? The No King stuff. I thought that was all I was going to hear about. And so to kick off Saturday with this story that's even hard to explain to people, like when you say 2 lawmakers in Minnesota were attacked, one fatally along with her husband, and then also the other lawmaker's spouse. Those 2 are injured. Like, just getting the words out is complicated. I mean, from the beginning, the idea that this person, that the same attacker had fatally, or the first couple was not fatally attacked, they were hospitalized, and then had gone to a different town and fatally attacked a different lawmaker and her husband.
By the way, after having a shootout with cops. And then at one point went home, apparently didn't tell his roommates anything, that's what they're alleging, and then also evaded capture for days. His wife and his children are somewhere upstate. It just, you couldn't get through explaining this to someone even from the beginning without it getting convoluted and weird. Well, what about the fact that he has a 7-bedroom sprawling home, but lives in a halfway house?
It's weird. I mean, they're
with
saying
2 roommates. What the hell?
A delivery driver who says absolutely Trump. He was a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
And he has the No King stuff in his car. I mean, obviously, in some ways, I think the political affiliation of this is the big distraction. Like, everyone wants to point fingers and say he was motivated by your side and he was motivated by the other side. You're seeing the stuff of his list with pro-abortion politicians. And I believe his affiliation with different churches, in fact, he's gone on mission trips, has sort of come up. I mean, one of them was saying he came back from, a mission trip to Africa and seemed very different.
Yeah, he went insane.
Radicalized there, or maybe had some sort of mental breakdown. It's not really clear.
Well, he lost his USAID funding, is what people are saying.
Right.
What about the fact that he bought a church? Mm-hmm. He bought a church.
You broke up there for a little bit.
Oh, sorry. He bought a church in Iowa, was renovating it, and then what the hell was he doing living in a crack den?
He also had a international fake security company.
Right.
And was allegedly in Africa where he was trying to get close to Islamic fundamentalists.
Yes, correct.
So, bing, bing, bing. Alex Jones says that this is all the hallmarkers of MK Ultra, which I don't think we have any evidence proving that. But I think, listen, with just how weird politics is, anything is possible.
But the question is this politically motivated? Which I'm not saying it's not, just option 1. There's some sort of weird, warped political ideology. I don't think it fits clearly into any box. Or is this a true crazy person who has somehow, I think, roped his wife into it and decided this was the time to carry out some sort of complicated attack that it's not totally clear what the purpose or what they were trying to achieve was?
Well, Data Republican thinks that this guy's just always craved an audience. And when he lost his USAID money or whatever,
he
snapped and thought, hey, this is a great way to kind of become famous.
Big Bird.
That does track with the fact that he didn't self-exit. I was 100% convinced there's no way he was taken alive. Even when they reported that there were gunshots at 2 a.m. from the forest where they found him, what was he faking it? This guy's like John Rambo. The biggest question is, he goes to the second house, engages in a shootout with police outside of the house, kicks the door down, dodges a hail of gunfire, then kills 2 people, then runs out the back door, and somehow gets to his car. Somebody picked him up. This is at 6 a.m. He evaded all police. I don't understand. It's like somebody had to have been waiting. Like he was going to leave his
doesn't
car or
seem like
something.
and maybe there's more information about him than I know at this point, but it doesn't seem like he's particularly tactically trained. I mean,
He's overweight and he's in his 60s.
Also, to be on the run, like, for, I mean, what was it in the end? Several days.
Almost 2 full days.
And so you have a secret sandwich stashed in your mask or whatever. Like, to me, that would indicate that he had somewhere to run to, or
he had money. The government, he stopped to get gas money, and I'm sure he bought like food and stuff from the gas station. This is the most insane case I can ever think of seeing in my life. And he was taking a lot.
Was good.
Which
I got the shirt I'm wearing there yesterday. Got plenty of pictures with the grandkids and my sons.
I don't know. Yes, I mean, I guess it's more possible. Not possible if he was dead.
Especially if the person who said, you know, he's always written on it. If you are, for whatever reason, decided to do this horrible acts, and now you're alive and you're paying attention, if it's an ego-driven thing, there's a narcissistic personality disorder or whatever it is, I find it hard to believe that you're not going to take the first opportunity to give some kind of statement. I assume that will make it hard to have some sort of defense.
How about you? How was yours?
Absolutely cannot take the stand, and he's like, I'm doing it anyways.
Yeah, he'll end up defending himself.
Oh, good. That always works out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people that do this, you know, Ted Bundy did that. Ted Bundy did that. He actually did an okay job. People say in the beginning, like he kind of fell apart in the end, but
the charges are also kind of weird here too.
They said they weren't premeditated.
Yeah, it's not, which is weird.
How could this not be premeditated? Like,
and the bail was like $5 million, I think.
Yeah, that's actually a conceivable number. I mean, he only needs $500K to get out. That's not very much money. I mean, his house is probably worth more than that. Yeah, so you know, he could use his house as collateral and probably be out, which is actually crazy. Yep.
What did you think of Walt immediately coming out and saying this was a politically motivated political assassination?
Well, I mean, I think it's hard to deny that, you know, given who was targeted. But
at the time, it's not that I think he was necessarily wrong to say it, but I was surprised that he gave such a bold statement. I feel like so many times, especially if the man hasn't been caught or the suspect hasn't been caught, you wouldn't necessarily want to be like, okay, so there's a random guy attacking politicians, which means this could get, you know,
lizard or cat or something.
Stakes simply are there are probably at least 100, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and he's on the run. It in some ways felt kind of, I don't know, emotional maybe on Walt's behalf. I mean, I would have expected some sort of like, please stay calm, we're still gathering information. Now maybe it's good that he just addressed the political assassination side of it first. So it's hard to say. Yeah,
but what do you make of Luke? What do you make of the fact that they are selectively releasing names on the list? They have said that he has a manifesto, but it doesn't have to do. Yeah, he has a manifesto, but it doesn't have anything to do with the crime. Isn't a manifesto the very definition of explaining why you're doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
And we know that one other time they didn't release a manifesto was in Nashville.
Yeah, because it was politically convenient for the current political party in charge right now and the current thing that they tried to force on everybody. So there's so many weird anomalies here. Manifesto, no manifesto. He was a Democrat, no. He was a conservative. I think people are just gonna. I mean, the more you really research the story, the more you find out about it, the stranger this whole thing becomes.
Yes. Well, I mean, even to your point, if they're charging him with saying it wasn't premeditated, he just had a spare manifesto for some other sort of political idea, like and
posters that he had planned on putting. He put
420.
Not many people.
That's funny. Yeah, 420 exactly. It says.
I think
so about another hour.
It's crazy or not? I think everyone was wrong. I think his roommate knew. I think his roommate probably picked him up. His roommate showed his phone to police, but read the text from him, but would not show his phone to the police or the reporters. My question is, why the hell hasn't the FBI seized his phone by now? They found Like, and this guy just won't shut up.
No, in so many interviews.
Yeah, and like, him breaking the window, and give me any reason. At 6 a.m. that day, he walked out, broke the window out of the. Somebody told him to do that. There is no doubt in my mind. He went, retrieved the hammer, broke the window, got something out of the car. What did he get out of that car? And why is he doing interviews? Why isn't he in police custody? Like, it's very weird. It's like crappy cops. Why isn't this guy in custody? Did they? I know they
They
initially.
cleared him so quickly, I guess.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, everyone is treated as a suspect until they can prove otherwise. Also,
Well,
I suspect they would have been like, please don't speak to the media. I mean, he doesn't have to listen to the cops, but.
Tells Alma she's good. She's working.
What? Somebody tell me a reason for why he broke that window up at 6 in the morning.
That makes no sense at all.
There's. He doesn't do that if he's not told to do that. Like, or it's not part of the plan, or he realized, like, oh shit, I have some incriminating stuff in the car, the cops are going to show up. It might have been just some weed or something, I don't know. But he knew what was going on. I think that they planned it together. This man had significant planning. He had purchased the uniform, the mask. He had figured out the addresses of these, presumably all 80 people on his list. He had enough flyers to leave at every house. In his mind, he thought he was going to get them all. And the most important...
I thought he was going to get them all in, like, what, a 24-hour spree? Like,
yeah, I mean...
crazy.
He didn't even get to the second one before police were waiting at the house.
Right.
And, like, I don't know, what... And he also killed the dog, too, so I don't think that. But, like...
Golden retriever, too.
Golden retriever is just a golden retriever. Yeah, it was not an attack dog. It was a rescue dog. I just don't know. Like, somebody picked him up at 6 a.m. That man, this man somehow evaded all police capture for days. Like, there was a police officer on the scene exchanging gunfire with him. He ran out the back door. There wasn't a single chopper up. There wasn't a single other unit in the area. Bullshit. Did he break into a car and he knew how to hotwire it? It's like this guy, John Rambo. Like, there is something very, very, very off about this case.
Do you think that the authorities are trying to quiet the idea that there would be anyone else involved because they're afraid of either copycats or public fear?
I don't know. I think they're just shitty cops. I think these are small town cops that aren't used to dealing with this kind of stuff. Like, how could this guy... You know how they caught him? He showed up on somebody's trail cam. If that person didn't have a trail cam, they probably would never have found him. Although, they saw his car abandoned pretty plain sight. You could see the car. Somebody was going to be like, hey, there's a car out there.
Well, and I hate to say this because it's morbid, but, if they didn't catch him, I assume he would have continued on his list. Like,
I would think.
God, he wasn't able to, but he apparently had some kind of purpose and motive.
How does he escape that initial exchange of gunfire with the police? Remember, he left his vehicle, so he was on foot in a neighborhood that was hours from where he was caught. How did he get another car? And then his wife, a car full of guns, money, and passports. What's happening there?
Yeah.
Like, they were all in on it. The wife was in on it for sure. He called the wife. He said, "Get my go bag," and they let him withdraw money. He went to I don't know if it was a bank or a gas station, but he withdrew money. I can't remember. You guys know?
I think it was at a gas station, but let me double check.
I'm not sure. I just sent you. I think you got a link of the manifesto. I just sent it to you.
Oh yeah, this is enlightening. Yeah, this is enlightening. Here we go.
Let's
let me read.
Government, they're so honest.
Yeah.
And then I sent you a clip from the police department that made a statement about this manifesto.
Or non-manifesto.
Yes.
Just thoughts.
It was also weird. Like, his body composition looks different than it did.
It doesn't look like that's the same guy on camera.
Right.
Well, it's also like a ring camera, so the
It could be
light kind of like distorted and it's at a different angle. But from that angle and from that clip, he looks totally different with his body composition.
It just seems crazy. Like the timeline is so crazy that it's hard not to think that he planned this secretly and just happened to put whatever in his wife's car, and she doesn't know anything, and his roommates know nothing. And also, he's very fast and good at surviving, and also very like stealthy, I guess. Like the stars are lining up too much. On the other hand, he does seem the political motivation doesn't seem totally clear. He definitely has certain political, like it seems like he's kind of muddled.
Isn't it funny that we had allegedly a deranged pro-lifer, and then just 2 weeks ago we had a deranged anti-lifer.
Yeah.
Like blow up an IVF group.
Yeah.
Here's that video. Yeah. They're asking about the manifesto.
At this point in time, it would be premature. The question was, is the manifesto and the information that we've received, it's the motivations. And we are working diligently on that. There's certainly some indications within that, but there's not specifics enough. We have been, this is a very active and fluid investigation.
Now, one thing you could argue is that they're not going to release a manifesto while they're still literally looking for the guy.
Sure.
That, that part, but it should be out today. Like, we should have it now.
Well, we're not going to get it, for sure.
No way. Yeah. And what we do get will be, they'll release some parts that's convenient. That pushes their narrative. I don't doubt that he had Ilhan Omar on the list. But is it just that he printed off a list of every politician? Like, were there Republicans on the list?
At least 60 Democratic politicians, allegedly.
Well,
yeah.
Is this a list that he Googled who takes money from this organization, who has voted this way on this bill, and made this list, or did he individually compile the names? I think that speaks to the state of mind.
Yeah. I think he said it was, I think somebody said it was handwritten or something like that, too. I don't know. It's very weird. MK Ultra, maybe. I don't know. This is going to be another guy. We don't have anything on him. He didn't have a social media platform.
He literally never existed before Friday.
Right. And he had all these shell corporations. He had like that Red Lion, which never actually did any work. It was just a shell corporation. Data Republican revealed that it looked like he was money laundering, buying properties and doing quit deeds or whatever, quick to do that kind of like. It's all very weird.
Super strange.
I'm gonna ask.
Very weird then that he was also taken alive.
That's not what I expected at all.
That's not what I expected at all. And
yeah.
It's hard for me not to think that we won't get some kind of commentary from him.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Not that it'll make sense, but
it'll be
unusual. Normally, it's like this crazy thing happened and he's gone. I mean, that's what happened with the anti-lifer in California. Like that person was gone. You have to trace, their online activity to get any sense of what's going on. This person seems to be motivated. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to me. It seems like a combination of some kind of psychotic break, but also some clear intense planning. Which how out of your mind can you be if you're preparing your passports?
Yeah, it's definitely odd. I wanted to get to this other story too. It's just as weird. Andrew says, so the shooter had similar motivations to the Balloon Boy stunt. Yeah. Did you know that Alexander Soros married Huma Abedin on June 4th? I did know that.
Weird couple.
Yeah.
Weird
yeah.
couple.
Check the guest list. Yeah, I would say. TJ says the fact that Iran says it wants to negotiate now means the military operation was successful, end the war and make a deal. If Trump continues the war, GTFO. Yeah, I agree. By me, Nanner says it's pronounced Hannah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clash says,
Right.
get it right. Her first name is Hannah. Her second name is Claire, and her last name is B. That's true. Yeah.
Actually, it's not, because my whole first name is Hannah Claire.
Oh yeah,
my
that's
last name
actually
does
true.
start with the B.
Yeah. Relatively Objective says, go Google the name of the woman he killed and filter by more than a week old. She was recently in the news for breaking the Democrats' illegals Medicaid. She did break from the Democrats, but the other one didn't. But the other one didn't. I think he just printed off every politician in the state, in a close area. Mustang11 says, got the Coffee Brand coffee from my dad this weekend. Loved it. If you love coffee, you should buy Coffee Brand coffee. It also worked well for coffee enemas while taint tanning. Your Seeger family approves. I'm happy to hear that.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. I don't know if you guys, I mentioned this briefly, I think on Friday. I have a kind of a secret thing that's ready to launch. Like the pre-orders launch now. There's only 2,000 available. So if you like this is something pretty special. We are, if you go to coffeebrandcoffee.com/summer, it's also linked in the description. You can get Kona coffee. It's the first time we've ever offered Kona, made in America. It is $50 a pound to buy unroasted. That's how expensive. We'll also get our best flavor ever, Tiger's Blood. It's my all-time favorite. It's like a watermelon, coconut, strawberry mix.
What?
That's exactly what everyone says, and then they taste it and they're like, holy shit. Then also blackberry cream. You get this before anyone else, and the only way you're going to get the Kona is through this. You get a new challenge coin and a signed thank you letter from me. These drops help us. We're doing this to buy some more machinery that we need to make coffee scrub and package it, and to get a little more space. So if you want to check it out, coffeebrandcoffee.com/summer. There's only 2,000 available, and so I'm making it available to my live streams first. And you guys definitely went hard on the Dark Souls pack we did before, and then there was another one. Unlike those, this will ship in the next week, so you won't have to wait forever for this one to ship. I waited to put it on sale until it was ready to go. So everything is bagged. So this will ship late June, so in the next week or 10 days. Yeah. And I only kept one bag of the Kona for myself. They're like, how many bags do you want? Because, Kona's pretty cool. I'm like, now I want to sell as many as I can. So I kept one and put the other 1,999 on sale.
How long have you been working on this? This has been like a secret project, I feel like.
Yeah, it's really hard. I bought all the Kona that was even available.
And then poop out.
No, these are grown in Hawaii. And they're super unique because of the volcanic soil and all this kind of stuff.
Nice. And what's the taste? How do they taste?
I mean, I haven't had it yet. I mean, I've had Kona, but I haven't had this blend yet. I'm getting it later this week.
Coffee, like, how does it compare to normal coffee?
It's just so smooth, and like the caffeine content is really nice.
Is it higher or lower?
It's a little higher, but it's not like an ultra high double caffeinated thing. Like Blue Mountain has a lot of caffeine in it, but yeah, I'll save a bag for you. I'll have it when you're here. I'll roast it.
I'll buy some. I'll order some.
Well, they
I'm supporting friends.
Yeah, they it's not, you wouldn't drink it every day unless you were rich, kind of thing, but it's cool for like showing off or for kind of special cup. Now I wanted to get on. I've got this story that I want to let you two cover if you cannot fight while I'm gone. Quick. No, let the dog out.
Like how you hate us extra fights so things stay spicy.
I know, we had more super chats while you guys were fighting than we've ever had. I think we had the most super chats we've ever had today. So I guess maybe fight more, but
you picked a spicy topic, and then Luke and I didn't agree on it, so it's a perfect storm.
Well,
all right, and Mr. Meanie BB, come start it off again, kick off some drama, and then walk away.
Yeah, Luke was dead wrong about BB. BB controls Trump, and but also the water gun story.
What's the water gun story? I don't know what this is.
The protest water guns against
Yeah, you might find this kind of interesting. So, across Europe, it's mainly concentrated in Spain, in Barcelona, and a couple other places, but it's kind of spreading to Italy, a few other major tourist destinations. Protesters are really angry that tourists are coming, and it's not just Americans, like tourists are coming anywhere. part of it is that it has to do with like Airbnb and short-term rentals. They're saying that as these are sold, it is making it more difficult for Native people or long-term permanent residents to buy housing. And so one of the things that's cropped up is that people are squirting tourists with water guns, and it's part of this go home movement, this anti-tourist movement. I always find this funny because so many small towns that I know of, or at least in America, are like, we rely on tourists to come here, but these native Europeans are saying, get out of here, we don't want you here. You've traveled pretty extensively. Do you feel like the energy towards tourism is changing as we get into a more, I don't know if it's a populous society or just as we become more online? What do you think?
No, leftoids just love being self-sabotaging. And what better way to self-sabotage people coming into your place and giving you money than by spraying water on them like absolute idiots? I'm watching some of the videos, and this is, of course, Barcelona. Is that how you say it?
I believe so, but my Spanish doesn't exist.
They get offended when I don't say it right, so I make sure to say it wrong as much as I can. Some people just have that. They get really offended when you don't say things correctly. You don't know why, but it just happens. People are just ticked off by it. I don't know why.
It's hard. It's hard when you can't say things. Although I will say an accent and other things are different. But in this case, I find it interesting because the protest is directed at the tourists.
Yeah,
but
they're pro-immigrant, but they're not pro-tourist.
Right,
so
exactly.
They want random people walking in, taking their tax dollars, but they don't want random people coming in and giving them money. It's self-sabotaging, delusional, idiotic, leftist kind of theory that is destroying, a beautiful place. Like, I don't want to go to Barcelona right now because some idiot is going to spray some water on me. Like, no, I'm just not going to accept that. So It's just ridiculous.
It's also interesting that, to me, so you're right, like they're pro-migrants, but they're not pro-tourists who are going to leave. But also they're not mad at what I assume are other local people who are buying these residences and apparently driving up housing costs. Like, they're not protesting Airbnb, they're protesting people who use the service. It seems like you could go after the corporations to incentivize kind of the change in the real estate market.
Yeah. It's just annoying, privileged liberals that have nothing else to do other than one. What are you drinking there, Jeremy? What is that?
A protein shake. Is that okay?
That's fake sugar nonsense. It's not even real protein. What is that? You need a beef liver smoothie.
This is 30.
Bully you at all times.
It's 30 grams of protein.
How much sugar? How much sugar?
1 gram.
Get out of here.
Hold on.
All those soy drinks, right, are good for you. All right?
Soy, I feel like that one's way.
It's not soy. See, it won't focus. It's just focus sugar.
It has probably artificial sweeteners and sugars in there. Probably has
stevia.
I'm have in there.
Stevia. None. It has none. This is, let's see. I don't know. I'm doing no artificial growth hormones used to produce.
That doesn't mean anything. It's all fake marketing, mumbo jumbo crap.
This 30 grams of protein. I'm doing a meal replacement. You should be happy. I'm like back on the program.
No, you should
never
be eating healthy,
having a rough week,
and not needing to have all this artificial, heavily processed nonsense into your body. That's what you need.
Luke, you make me want to puke. No, I don't. I'm not going to let people. It's good. I replaced the meal with a protein shake. That's good. Yeah. So I wanted to grab this other topic because it's pretty funny. Like, I don't know what are you following? Are you guys following the story? The like Antifa shooter, non-shooter, all these people that are getting arrested. Like, here Taylor's all over it too. This is our Salt Lake City has been taking out any footage that shows the moment Arturo Gamboa, that sounds as American as apple pie, is shot by a, quote, peacekeeper affiliated with Utah's 50-50 50501, which is the new video angle, does not show Arturo raise his rifle at the crowd. It shows him being taken out while walking with the rifle, which is completely legal. Arturo is known to the local protest communities to open carry his rifles at demonstrations. The peacekeeper from the protest needs to be publicly identified is it seems he's lying about what transpired. He fired 3 shots, one striking Arturo, another taking the life of an innocent bystander who's wow, another American. There's something weird going on with this case. I don't really understand, kind of like what exactly is. Are you following this? This was at the Salt Lake City No Kings stuff. Yeah.
It's been kind of interesting to untangle it, especially when you move between X and mainstream media. Like, I think I said this to you earlier, but there's an article from The Guardian that says detectives do not yet know why Gamboa pulled out a rifle or ran from peacekeepers. Like, it seems like everyone is confused, but also like there is an effort to try and shift blame around as to why this happened.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't seem like he's keeping up the peace.
Well, what is a peacekeeper? Is he a peacekeeper? He was, because like,
it seems like he's not a peacekeeper, but does carry a gun. But there are peacekeepers, and then there are police, and between all of them, no one really understands who was the aggressor.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like. Like, this is slowed down footage from the Salt Lake City No Kings incident shows one of the volunteer peacekeepers firing into the crowd. Arturo Gamboa, dressed in black, runs away when the shots are fired at his rifle wasn't even pointed at anybody. In the video, Gamboa, a far-left Antifa supporting Latino revolutionary type, has been charged with murder for the bystander being killed by the unnamed peacekeeper. What the heck is going on with this?
I sent you some reporting from Andy Nog here surrounding all of this that gives us a little bit more details. It looks like he was trying to take out somebody else and then accidentally took out a fellow comrade that was a part of the protest here. I think that is the more kind of logical explanation.
Oh, sometimes the trash takes itself out then, huh?
Well, it's a random bystander that just got shot and taken out by what looks like a kind of person with bad aim and no training at all. Andy Nog, had his take on this.
Okay, I'll grab that. It's Andy No, just so you know. I don't want you calling
about people's names.
I don't want you calling people Nogs on my show, okay? Especially when they're people of color.
How do you pronounce NGO?
No. How do you pronounce when?
Nog. There's a G in there. NGO. Nog.
No, you're transposing N and or G and O. Let me grab them. Why can I find what you sent me?
It's like eggnog.
Yeah, how's that spelled? Why is this not coming up? So I have the Any No thing up. Where is this? Okay, now I can. Okay. I don't know why I can open the window, or I still can't open the window. What in tarnation? Okay, here we go. Let's hear what Andy Nog has to say here.
There you go.
A Latino radical leftist and Antifa supporter has been charged with murder. By the way, he got shot too. Mm-hmm. Not by police. I don't think.
A peacekeeper, right?
But what's a peacekeeper?
Well, that's the thing. Some of the reports were saying initially it's not clear who hired or if they're volunteers or basically where they come in. But also, if you're a peacekeeper, you're carrying a gun. Why would you open fire into the crowd that seems to be supporting the cause that you're there to protect?
By the way, he killed a gay guy.
Is a hate crime charge coming? Or?
This guy is he's on TV, like Queer Eye or something like that. I think he's on some sort of TV show.
Really?
Yeah. Arturo Gamboa, wearing all black, allegedly had a rifle. A No Kings liberal peacekeeper volunteer with bad aim tried to take out Gamboa, but instead fatally wounded a bystander. So somebody saw him with a gun and they just pulled and shot at him. That's what it sounds like.
But
they probably thought he was there to do a mass event.
It sounds weird though, but like he wasn't carrying the gun in his hands, right? It was like strapped.
No, it was poking out of his backpack.
So why wouldn't you just like approach him?
Approach him, pull your gun, and say, "What are you doing?" Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy, by the way, when I read, open carry is legal there.
Yeah, and if Taylor is right, like he is known to activist communities, surely the peacekeeper either knows him or could say like, "Hey, we need to talk to this guy," and someone there would be like, "No, he's always like this." Not that he should
Yeah.
be, but like, it seems weird. It seems like to me, if we, this is total conspiracy, so forgive me if I'm totally wrong on this, but like, if it comes out later that the peacekeeper knows Gamboa and has some sort of personal tension, I wouldn't be that surprised because it
Well,
seems
why are the police
weird.
protecting him? So the police have not named the peacekeeper and have not said he faces any charges. The guy fired a gun into an open a crowd of people. It's not even like whether or not he was had good aim or not. Like, you don't get to just shoot somebody for carrying a gun. That's not how this works, unless you're the
Especially if
police.
Utah is open carry.
Yeah, it's very weird. Yeah, Gamboa was present with the rifle. There was a volunteer peacekeeper who then shot Gamboa and also took out a bystander. And Gamboa, from what I understand, was literally just walking around. Yeah, he wasn't pointing at anybody. He wasn't,
He wasn't being aggressive in any way. He was just walking with the protesters.
Yeah, all the witnesses there said the event organizer in a yellow vest of some sort shot someone, and the other leaders frantically ran around denying it.
Yeah, the witnesses said it was one of the organizers. We don't know anything.
It says on the news that 2 people were shot. One is the shooter. One was a protester.
People saw the shooter leave.
On the internet.
Why are they covering? Wait, did they cheer that? Hold on.
I don't think that sounded like a cheer. That was more like aggressive. Yeah. Hello, cat.
Oh, yeah, it's Doc. I feel like they think that it was like an anti. I don't know why they're covering this up. Was the peacekeeper an off-duty cop?
Maybe.
Undercover cop, maybe,
or undercover. Yeah, and he panicked and like
made a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I helped train some police officers, and a lot of them are very ill-equipped, ill-trained to handle a lot of these kind of very stressful, wild situations. And in simulations, we have innocent bystanders that usually get shot, and most of the time they get shot by the police officers training with us when it comes to force-on-force kind of tactical training that we do with BBs.
Yeah, it's very weird. Why would they cover up? It seems like to me that they are covered up. Why haven't they? Here's Gamboa. Here's a designated peacekeeper. He's just firing at him indiscriminately, and he's shooting at him as he's running away.
Yeah, that's not self-defense.
No, it's not.
This guy's a murderer, like 100% undeniable, and he hasn't even.
So
been
why
charged.
has his name's not been released? Why?
He's going to be a cop. I know it.
It's gonna be something weird.
It's going to be somebody. Like, what is he even doing? He does kind of something. If he's not holding the gun sideways, he's holding with both hands. You shouldn't be walking and shooting, though. Yeah. But, at no point does this guy, Gamboa, is right here. He doesn't even look at him. I don't think he's even looking at him. He's just, why wouldn't you close the distance? He wasn't even paying attention to you, and his rifle's in his backpack.
Mm-hmm.
Like Luke said, I mean, the guy, or I think Hannah Claire said that, like, just walk up to him and say, what are you doing? Why do you have that gun? Like, he can't use it.
Right. If you're there on some kind of authority, right? Like, you organizers ask for volunteer peacekeepers. Like, you can approach it with another guy and be like, hey, man, what's going on? But again, that's why in the back of my mind, I'm like, is this personal? Like, you saw this guy specifically? There are times that I think about, like, with these events, there's like a desire for some kind of drama, but it could be more innocent than that. Like, you're just on edge because you believe you and these people are under attack at all times, and so you accidentally decided to attack someone who was doing nothing and not looking at you. Like, you couldn't even say like, oh, he gave me a look and so I thought I had to, like, it seems so weird. and it obviously made this protest make national news. Obviously, there were no King's protests across the country. This one gets more attention because of that. Is that a factor? Like, it's a weird situation.
Yeah.
Well,
Luckily, more people weren't hurt, and I mean, it's tragic what happened, but luckily, more people weren't affected by this absolutely ridiculous, like unaccountable, unprofessional type of behavior by someone who's carrying a firearm, which makes everyone, who carried the firearm look ridiculous now.
Yeah, I mean, the peacekeeper claimed that he was pointing the rifle at the crowd, which he wasn't. Yeah, the video clearly states that he was not. It was in a backpack. So, I don't know. They're covering for him for some reason. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if you guys saw this. Also in Utah, we had 3 people, including a baby, gets killed at a carnival. 5 people were struck by gunfire when a 16-year-old, what do you call him, Hannah Claire, basketball American, reportedly pulled out, youth, pulled out a gun and just opened fire at another group. This is just gang activity. This piece of shit killed a baby. Like, are you fucking serious?
I mean, that's what happens when you just start blankly shooting.
I like that. I think the carnies are like throwing shit at him.
I feel like carnies are tough. I feel like they would not tolerate this. Partially because you make your money seasonally, so you don't want it to be like, yes, carnivals are unsafe, don't go to them this summer.
Yeah, the guy's yelling, "You shot a baby!" Like,
wow.
I mean, what we have here is, socioeconomic problem.
He clearly was trying to get bread. He was trying to get a meal.
Yeah.
Right? At the carnival.
I thought it was systemic racism behind this. Is that what's going on?
It was systemic racism. I mean, no, I don't know anything about who was shot. This is my favorite. Like, I do. It's they're like 2 black dudes shooting each other, and then they're on the ground like fucking white people. Yeah, I don't know who he shot, but I didn't know Utah had, gang culture, but
I think gang culture is probably everywhere. I mean, especially this is part of the effect of illegal immigration. Gang members are throughout the nation, whether or not they are.
Yeah, gang and degenerate culture is being sold to us at a record all-time high.
An
That's why everyone's trying to get like fake fat lips and fake fat butts, and listening to like the most degenerate, like regressive nuns,
murder porn. Yeah. It's too bad. I just don't understand it. By the way, this is a 16-year-old, like a kid that, had, now
that's
his
awesome.
life's gone away.
His family's life ruined, like his sibling. I mean, it's not just the shooter and the victim. It cascades out in all directions. And again, like the question becomes, are your communities safe? I mean, we have this desire, I think, to have public events, community events like carnivals, like county fairs. And if I know that when I was a middle school teenager, like you would go to it, you would hang
By
out
yourself,
right. And like if parents have to now be like, we can't go there because someone might pull a gun at random, you're just chipping away at the fabric that makes a community, which means you're driving people towards isolation.
I'm reminded of this video I saw earlier about not relaxing. I don't know.
Just constant vigilance, like Harry Potter.
Yeah, I think that this is probably a good. I mean, look, it's not white people doing this. White people do plenty of fucked up shit. Okay, that's always
look at the Minnesota guy.
Right, like, but this thing, indiscriminately firing guns. Actually, the Utah guy was a white guy too. I think he looked white, I don't know for sure. But this gang crap is coming specifically from one group of people. And, that group of people continues to pretend that it's not that group of people, which is always fun. That said, I want to give everyone a chance to let everyone know where they can find your content. And, as we wrap up here.
Can't believe how fast they went.
Yeah,
let's one Middle Eastern conflict, the whole day's gone.
Yeah, well, when Luke was being wrong for an hour straight, it flew by. Go ahead.
You're going to mark those words. You're going to remember this time. I want to remember this. We're going to remember this. We'll find out the truth eventually.
Yeah.
And I will be expecting my apologies. I will be expecting my apologies very soon.
Okay, I will.
All right. And I'll apologize if I'm wrong.
Well, that's cool.
I will.
Go ahead, Hannah Claire.
You can find my work on Rumble and YouTube. It's Hannah Claire B. It's all one word. Like I said, I do news analysis, some cultural commentary. I would love to see what you guys think in the comments. I've been very lucky to follow along with people's takes on my opinions. You can probably expect a video on Trump Baby Boom later this week or today, and then later this week an update on the Idaho 4 case if you'd like to get to know what's going on there with that legal situation. You can also follow me on X, it's Hannah Claire B there as well. Thanks to you guys who support me already. I really appreciate it. It makes all the difference to me. And thanks to Jeremy for having us here multiple times a week, or 2 to 4, 4 days a week for this, and then you get a solo day on Fridays.
Yeah, I get tired of you guys, so I just go, it's just me alone. Right, Luke, let them know where they can find your stuff.
First of all, I would like to apologize for absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Work on YouTube.com/weird because I'm right. Both of you guys are
Look at Highway Patrol in a minivan. That was weird.
You will see. You'll see. All right.
Yeah.
And if you appreciate people being right, you can on youtube.com/wearechange. youtube.com/wearechange. I just did a video about the MK Ultra kind of aspects of the latest kind of story that's going on here. I'm looking for my next story. Let me know what you guys want to see. I appreciate the conversation. I like having real conversations on fake ones. You can always expect that with me. youtube.com/wearechange, and I appreciate you guys for having to deal with me.
And the only thing I'm going to say here is go get your free Rumble Premium. Go to rumble.com/premium, and you get a free month.
No, I haven't seen it yet. I don't think they didn't go live that night, did they? They just he just did recording. No, I haven't. This is Midwest Channel, right? Or was it Callahan?
Verified badge, lots of other benefits. So if you go to rumble.com/premium, use promo code FREE corner in one word. It's also in the description. Or you can use the link also on there for $20 off the annual, which is even.
First of all, the trauma that their party has imposed and inflicted upon millions of Americans is equally tragic. They have to answer for these things and can't hide behind their minions, which they do.
I'm just gonna say, like, I feel bad. Okay, I know people go through things. I get that, but at the end of the day, you represent 700,000 Americans. This is not about you. This isn't, just your job. This is you. You are supposed to be. If you can't do it, if you're too emotional to do it, if you can't control yourself, and your outbursts and can't think clearly, then you don't need to be a member of Congress. You need to resign. That would be doing your job properly. Would be resigning at that point. So I'm not holding back. I don't. Person that just doesn't do very bad. Like Anna Paulina Luna tried to push through this thing, if you remember, with proxy voting. It's like, oh, well, new mothers shouldn't have to go to work. They should be able to vote from home. I'm sorry. Go be a new mother on somebody else's dime. You work for the taxpayer. I'm sorry. If you can't come to work, you see that chick that was on the House floor holding her baby like a prop, right? Saying that, oh, I can't come in to vote because I have a baby. Bitch, I'm sorry. You're doing it right now. This is all a show.
Every now and again I do it. The amount of times I will say, "Bitch, shut," man or woman, just shut. Like you say something so freaking stupid, but I may want to go back to the practice of law one day, so I have to maintain some decorum. I'm joking. No, you're 1,000% right. That's what I say. If a man is so fundamentally broken from life trauma that he's an erratic, sporadic, pathological demon of a human, resign from politics and deal with that trauma. And there's no but to that. I know people are going to say that if Jamie Raskin is like that on a personal level, then they might have their own follow-up questions and say that, okay, that might explain some family situations if he's truly an awful person, like through and through. But
Oh, really? Yeah, I'll check it out.
And broken, stay home. If you not having kids, you either take
Maybe on the trip home
paternity and deal with that, or find a babysitter for the time it takes to make it here.
Why does this not charging?
So I just couldn't live in DC day in and day out. It's like a steaming shit.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. It was like it was sort of euphoric here. You get the Capitol, you got the that I can just walk to all the time. I can go to the White House and or at least walk, out, just around anywhere to any of these buildings. I'm not necessarily invited. So let's be real. I get invited to way too many people to be invited to all these cool ritzy events, and I don't want to be. Thank you for not inviting me. But it's you really learn. What I've learned here over these past 6 months of being here is how shitty these people are.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can say that pretty easily from the outside, but once you see it from the inside, I mean, these people, I could count on one hand the amount of people in this entire city that give a shit about any American out there. It's really bad. It makes me sick. It makes me never want to come back here again. But we're fighting a mission, so I'm going to say.
You are. Can I ask how old you are? I think I asked you this last time. You're young.
27.
Young. Okay, good. No, not that no kids. Total freedom to do what the world needs. And I would dare say maybe don't meet someone in DC. I say wait until you get. When I was
Natalie Winter said the other day that pretty much every dude in DC is gay. So now I'm looking over my shoulder. It's like I don't know. I came here with a girlfriend, so we're okay. We're okay. I don't have to worry about the dating pool out here.
That's fair. That's good, and that'll you'll have a sane voice to ground you at the end of the day. When I was there for a couple of days. It feels like you're walking through New York, the beautiful buildings, beautiful monuments, and then I look at everybody. Everybody's wearing suits. They look like clones of one another, like out of the Matrix, walking with briefcases. Fancy people walking through.
No. Okay, so that reminds me. I gotta make this point here. Walking around the Capitol on a business day is infuriating because all you're doing is running into lobbyists, big lobbying firms. And they're taking congressmen out to lunch and schmoozing them and stuff, and you're like, this is disgusting. I mean, it's the same people every time. Their offices are right down the street, so they all just first thing in the morning, they all just run over to the Capitol, lining themselves out of the office doors, and then they're just all day long schmoozing and buying these people off. And at some point, you've got to stop that. I don't think there is any reason in hell a lobbyist needs to be able to go inside the Capitol. None. Zero. I'm sorry. Especially this. They have more access than I do.
Yeah.
You have in private communities, you have no solicitation orders, and it's a whatever municipal bylaw. No solicitation in DC. Period. Not hard. I mean, it makes you're 1,000% right. It's a disgusting, poor city where everybody wants something. Everybody's trying to get something, and even I was there alone. I'm listening to people over lunch. It's like, oh my gosh, this is it's like a law firm at the city scale, and everyone is just out there for some specific personal corporate interest, and it's truly nauseating. Nick, but no, okay, so it's one thing you're doing the content, and I asked this not to be to pry.
Wow,
you gotta
fucking idiot.
You gotta find a way to monetize your work. How can people support you if they want to support what you're doing? Because the world needs people like you, and people like you need to be supported because you can't do it. You can't do it for nothing. How do people support you?
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't ask for much because the fact that I don't want to give anybody ammunition to be like, oh, well, you're being paid by this person, you're being paid, even though I'm accused of being paid by both Israel and Qatar at the same time, specifically because I don't want another war in the Middle East. I feel like that's a pretty reasonable stance to take as an American. But there is a link in the bio on my X page that I take donations. I just don't solicit them.
Good. Okay, no, everyone's got your link. Everyone should follow you on Twitter. There's I don't know. It doesn't matter. There's monetization on Twitter. There's passive like that. But people need sometimes good work deserves to be rewarded. Period. And community support is not the same thing as corporate support. Whether or not you end up getting what's the word?
This is Nick Sorter.
Community expectations.
He had that lovely interview with Jamie Ratsky.
The risk is there, but if people want to support the work, you do amazing work, Nick, and I love it.
What I will never do, and I encourage nobody else to do it. Honestly, I don't think you do it, even. But there are way too many people on these social media platforms that will sell out to anybody to make they'll be given like $200 to make a post supporting green energy in Texas. It's like, and that's their revenue model. I will never do that. I've turned down over $1,000 for a single post from John Deere before, which you'd think John Deere would fall in line, but I feel like that stuff is disgusting. I don't know if you saw the soda people that were pushing to influencers that were pushing for taxpayers to fund fat people getting soda with our tax dollars through SNAP. I'm trying to put an end to that, so you're never going to see that from me.
Okay, amazing. We're going to go raid Kimberly Guilfoyle in a couple of seconds.
I'm doing 4 over the speed limit. It's 60 here. I'm doing 64. Look at everybody just zoom by me.
Let's do an update sooner than later.
Now, if I do that, I'm the one that's going to get pulled over here.
And if I'm in DC for whatever the reason, I shall ping you because we can go and hang out.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate
it. Nick, thank you very much. Fantastic stuff. All right, I'm going to kick him. I hate kicking people. It feels so mean. What I was going to do that I should have brought it up when he was here for this. King of Biltong in the house says premium biltong from Biltong USA. High protein, keto friendly, no additives, authentic South African flavor. Free shipping over $54.95 American. Shop now. BiltongUSA.com. Code Viva for 10% off. Biltong, thank you very much.
Both my
sons. Get to some of the chat before.
And both my grandbabies there.
So I don't go too far. Everybody, if you are inclined,
everybody participated in the barbecuing. It was nice.
Over on vivabarnslaw.locals.com, I shall procure the link and communicate it to all of you. Here, Barnes was on.
Breaking coverage.
Doubling how lethal they are from 2,000 pounds to 4,000 pounds as Plan B, because the Iranians, there are a lot of things. They're evil for sure, but they're not stupid, and they knew the likelihood of their nuclear program existing was diminishing by the. I'll just quote President Trump. For those people who say they want peace, you cannot have peace if Iran has a nuclear weapon. So for all those wonderful people who don't want to do anything about Iran having a nuclear weapon, that's not peace. I've often said that you don't define peace as the absence of conflict or the absence of war. You define it as the ability to defend yourself, and in this case, It's a preventative measure before you are literally, the world would be held hostage by a nuclear armed Iran. But yes, it's very consistent with my ideology and my philosophy. You can no longer have these forever wars. There's not a single country in the Middle East that wants the Iranians with nuclear weapons. And they have rained down through their proxies and themselves hundreds of thousands of missiles on Israel. At what point does Israel have the right to say enough is enough? How many missiles would it take fired into the United States before every American would demand, rightly so, that we neutralize any country that's involved? Now, we are in a new era, and I keep talking about the next generation of weaponry, and I keep talking about how future wars will be fought in air-conditioned offices and not on a battlefield. And we see this unfolding in real time, which means that for those people that worry about the quagmire,
there you go. Yeah, that's all right, dumbass. While they're merging, what a dummy!
Already own the skies.
What a big dummy!
All of Iran. This is a one-sided fight at this point.
I think it's hilarious.
Now that doesn't mitigate the danger. The danger to.
I'm only a couple miles from getting off the freeway, so I'm just gonna sit over here. But this guy's funny.
The other dangers associated with the ballistic missiles that they have, both short range and long range, and the lethality of all of that. But what is it going to be like 6 months from now, a year from now, if they have the 10,000 weapons that the Prime Minister is talking about, and maybe nuclear capability? Now, anyway, if Ambassador Nathan Sales is with us, he served in the first Trump administration as ambassador at large for counterterrorism, acting Undersecretary of State. Is there anything I'm saying here that you disagree with?
Sean, it sounds like you're angling for an appointment at the State Department. I'd love to have what you just said reflected among America's diplomatic corps. I think you're spot on. It's a threat, not just Israel, the region. They're a threat to the United States, and that has to be the guiding star of U.S. policy over the next couple of weeks. We're starting to see some of Israel's on again, off again.
Yeah, wait till the last minute, guys, to move over.
There's some chatter as the G7 summit up in Canada kicks off today that the G7 might call for de-escalation. And President Trump rightly has said, not signing that. And good, because our policy should be help Israel do what it needs to do to finish the job. With a minimum of henpecking and ankle biting from other countries in the West. It's always been important for Israel to be able to neutralize the threat that Iran poses, but especially so now. We've got to finish the job, because imagine how motivated Iran will be after this war ends to get a nuclear weapon, because that's going to be their insurance policy. So you can't leave any element of the nuclear program behind, because the Iranians are going to take that seed.
It's rain here in Cleveland. Man, look at this draft leaving. Holy crap.
Whether it's through military force or whether it's through diplomacy, this war needs to end with Iran completely disarmed.
Oh, and look, it's an existential threat not only to the region but to the world. And there's, a lot of people seem to have forgotten, but if you go back to April of 25 this year, it's a little ironic. President Trump is, there was one report that he pulled the plug on Iran's supreme leader to take him out. I'm not sure if I actually believe everything I read, but putting that aside, considering if you go back, according to the Persian language article published by one of their local papers, Trump is out of line any day now in revenge for the bloody martyr Soleimani. A few bullets are going to be fired into that empty skull of his, and he'll be drinking from the chalice of a cursed death. And so I'm not sure if I believe the report that he vetoed a plan to assassinate Iran's supreme leader. Israeli airstrikes did target one of Iran's largest oil refineries. I think that was a message that we can take out your entire ability to make money also.
Yeah.
Not just your nuclear sites, not your missile battery systems, which they've got about a third of.
Yeah, 2 more miles and I'm getting off the freeway.
Region, and that includes American troops in the region. I don't want people to think that this is, a cakewalk, because it's not. But it's a matter of, do you act now, or do you risk, what we as a world might be facing later? and I'm not willing to take that risk for our children and grandchildren.
Well, that's exactly right. The past 20 plus years, Israel has lived with a sword of Damocles hanging over it. And not just Israel, but the Saudis, the Bahrainis, the Emiratis, others in the Gulf, and ultimately the United States. And that sword of Damocles is the risk that Iran will develop a nuclear weapon that it will use to hold the entire region hostage. You know, they keep chanting death to America. They've been chanting that since the revolution back in 1979. We don't want to find out if it's just rhetoric. We have to assume that they mean it when they say it. And from that realization follows a really important point. They can never have, the world's most dangerous regime can never have the world's most dangerous weapon. And that's the only reason they could have the nuclear enrichment program. They've enriched so far up to 60% purity. Nobody who has a peaceful nuclear power program needs that kind of concentration of uranium. The only reason you could have that is because you want to preserve a pathway to a bomb. And so when the mullahs sit down at the negotiating table and say, well, we just want a peaceful program for power purposes, or
they were offered that in negotiations. I know that for a fact. They were offered. They could have the enriched rods for a peaceful powered nuclear program, which is it's nowhere near 60%. But when they're enriching the uranium and they don't have anywhere, any place, anytime American inspectors, we know that they've always been further along in their program than is publicly known. And we see how they terrorize the entire region. You know what's surprising to me is, like, I'm like, you know, break this down to a very simple equation. How many missiles would have to be fired into an American town or city by a foreign entity before you'd want America to react? You know, how many times does a neighbor have to punch you in the face and break your windows and attack your house before you're going to want to retaliate? And it's really that simple. Does Sean Hannity want a forever war? Absolutely not. Do I want this specific threat with this evil regime that has shown a willingness to attack innocent men, women, and children repeatedly and fund proxy wars ended, and I want that threat removed for the safety of our children and grandchildren? 100%. Don't apologize at all. I stand by it. I think the president has been right the whole time.
Yeah, and you know, how much risk would the United States be willing to accept? And I think the answer is not nearly as much as Israel has already had to accept. And this is an important point for your audience to understand. This isn't just Israel versus Iran. This is the civilized world against Iran, because Iran really is a threat to all of us. You know, a lot of people remember that the Iranians killed 600 or more American soldiers on the ground in Iraq. They've also been plotting assassinations right here on American soil. They're trying to kill President Trump, Mike Pompeo, John Bolton, and others. They tried to blow up an Italian restaurant in Georgetown.
John Bolton deserved it, probably.
To kill the Saudi ambassador. And imagine the collateral damage that would have involved. So now imagine that regime with a nuclear weapon, and you have to see why President Trump is so firmly and resolutely behind Israel's efforts to disarm this regime. We can't afford that risk anymore than
I totally agree. All right, quick break. Welcome back. More with Ambassador Nathan Sells. He served in the first Trump administration as Ambassador at Large for Counterterrorism and acting Undersecretary of State. We'll get to your calls also on the other side, 800-941-SEAN, if you want to be a part of the program. We will update you also on the insanity that took place, including people quoting James Comey, 86-47, and we have those chants. Listen, everybody needs to be concerned about their safety and security, and every home needs a home security system, and that's where Simply Safe Home Security comes in. One listener writes, I've worked everything from burglaries, home invasions, smash and grabs, assaults, to horrible murder cases. Nobody should be without an alarm system, and Simply Safe fits the bill perfectly. I can't tell you how much peace of mind I have when I leave my home and when I leave my family alone. And right now, you, my listeners, you'll get 50% off a brand new Simply Safe home security system. You just go to the website, simplysafe.com/Hannity. They have added, and this is what I love about Simply Safe, they're always advancing their technology. They now have AI, Active Guard, outdoor protection. Now, this will help prevent break-ins before they happen. In other words, let's say someone's lurking around the outside of your house, acting suspiciously. Well, Simply Safe agents will see them in real time. They can activate spotlights in real time, talk to them in real time. Excuse me, you with the red hat, you are trespassing. We have called the police. They can call the police in real time, and they haven't even gotten near your house yet. There's no long-term contract. There's no cancellation fee. And these plans, monitoring plans, start very affordably at about $1 a day.
All right, guys.
60-day satisfaction guarantee or your money back. It's simple. Just go to Simply Safe, one word, /Hanley, 50% off your new system.
Thanks for hanging out.
Monitoring plan, and you'll also get your first month free. That's